Hello. I am Ms.Marina. I am a bilingual teacher at Trilhar School. Welcome everyone to the Science Fair presentation. Today, we're going to talk about William Buckland. It is more properly known as the Reverend Dr. William Buckland. He was a theologian and the first professor of geology in England. He was taking the reins in 1818 at Oxford. He is well known for having found the first dinosaur, Megalosaurus, and later became rector in Westminster, England. In addition to his career and service as a respected theologian, he was not only a man of God, but a man of science as well. He had been a geologist and paleontologist, and these fields of expertise lead to his detailed documentation of the dinosaur fossil, now known as the Megalosaurus. He had been an advocate of what is known as the gap theory, which was, in a way, a theory that reconciled biblical accounts of creation with the scientific discoveries made by modern man. The Reverend was born in Axminster, Devon, on March 12, 1784. He was the eldest son of the then Dean of Templeton Tresham Charles Buckland and Elizabeth Buckland. William Buckland's interest in fossils is said to have been taken advantage of by the proximity of the quarry birthplace at Axminster, which was then abundant with fossil remains. Initially, William Buckland had been homeschooled. In 1797, however, he entered Blundell's School, which was at Tiverton, and received a more comprehensive education that would prepare him for his days at the university. A year after his time at Blundell, he transferred to the University of St. Mary at Winchester, where he was able to advance academically while still being able to retain his love of history and the natural sciences. After some training from his uncle, William Buckland, he won a scholarship to the University of Corpus Christi in 1801, and this is where he began his Oxford career. 3 years later, he obtained his degree through his scholarship and had also taken students to teach. He had never neglected his studies, but he was also able to make time to deepen his knowledge of scientific matters by attending lectures on geology given by John Kidd as well as lectures on anatomy given by Christopher Pegg. In 1808, William Buckland obtained his master's degree, became a fellow student, and was even ordained as a priest that same year. Career William Buckland. During the years 1808 to 1812, William Buckland spent numerous geological excursions on horseback to different parts of Scotland, England, Wales, and Ireland. He had a colorful and bright personality during his lectures, and that won him even more students. In addition to being a much-loved professor of mineralogy, he also contributed as a curator of sorts to the old Ashmolean building. He even added his private collection of fossils and rocks, which he had kept in his room at Corpus Christi College. In 1818 he was able to persuade the Prince Regent to grant him a second reading, and went to geology. During this time, his studies kept him very busy and he was involved in justifying the inclusion of geology, keeping in line with the biblical accounts of creation as well as the Noachian flood. During his days as animal fossils were believed to be from the Great Flood, and he spent a lot of time understanding the timeline between the flood and the existence of the animals whose fossils he had examined. On January 18, 1823, William Buckland discovered a skeleton he had then named as the Red Lady of Paviland, since the remains were found in Paviland Cave. There was a time when Buckland took great interest in Louis Agassiz's theory, and in 1938 he had a trip to Switzerland to meet Agassiz himself. In 1840, these two scientists found evidence of earlier glaciation. In the same year, Buckland became president of the Society for Geology once again, and despite hostile reaction to the theory he had proposed, he had already been convinced glaciation was the origin of many of the surface deposits that were in Britain. Now let's talk about William Buckland's personal life. In December 1825, he married Mary Morland. She already had her own collection of fossils. They had a shared passion for geology. They had 9 children, but unfortunately only 5 survived to adulthood. In 1850, William Buckland became ill with an illness that led to his death 6 years later.